Today you'll get a complete breakdown of the 5 communication habits that define a classically masculine man.
That is God, and that are the Peaky Blinders.
Such men, I think, are Sean Connery and Cary Grant. They have made a true art of communication. But what is it exactly that makes them speak in such a way that commands respect, attracts women, and still makes it look so effortless? I have watched almost all the movies men like Sean Connery and Cary Grant have played in, and while analysing how they communicate, I noticed 5 key things that made them communicate with such class, and after watching this video, you are ready to master them too. Number 1. Think before you speak. I'm sure you've had moments in the past where, right after saying something, you thought to yourself, why on earth did I say that? Or why did I say it in that way? It's a common experience, but it shouldn't be one you keep repeating.
When do you intend to try this?
This kind of regret usually happens when we speak without taking a moment to organise our thoughts. I see so many modern men stumbling through conversations, rushing to fill silences, or blurting out the first thing that comes to mind simply because they feel too pressured to respond quickly. But here's the truth. Gentlemen, the pressure you think you're under, it's actually an illusion. You're creating that pressure in your own head. Most of us assume that everyone is closely analysing every word we say, but the reality is, people are far more focused on themselves. You don't have to race to respond. In fact, once you've realised that the need to speak quickly is mostly self-imposed, you give yourself permission to slow down, gather your thoughts, and speak with intention. Number 2. Control your speech pace. To speak like a classic man, the second thing you need to know is how to control the pace of your speech. Speaking too fast gives off nervous energy. It makes your words feel disposable and like they didn't matter enough to carry any real weight. But a classic man understands that every sentence is a deliberate act. Every phrase you speak should have intention behind it. Think of your speech like music. Silence is the pause between notes, and the pacing is the rhythm that holds everything together. Don't be afraid to slow down. It will actually make you sound far more confident. It's the kind of speech that belongs to a man who doesn't chase approval, but naturally expects people to listen. When you speak slowly and with purpose, people lean in. Your presence becomes stronger, and your words feel more meaningful. Slowing your speech also gives you a stronger feeling of control in the room. It's like the energy of the space adjusts to your pace. This makes your message heavier and your presence more grounded. That's how you become the man who doesn't beg for attention, because when you speak with poise and patience, people instinctively recognize leadership. Number 3. Use the right tone. You might not know this, but people are actually more sensitive to tone than to the actual content of your words. That's why the right tone can either carry your message or completely ruin it. But I'm not going to talk about how to get a deeper voice, because getting a naturally deeper voice takes a lot of time and is hard to develop. There are ways to do it, yes, but that's a conversation for another time. For now, just know that tone isn't only about pitch, it's about emotional control. You should stop sounding frantic, sarcastic, or overly excited. I'm not saying you should take all the emotion out of your voice, but you should try to sound more stable and grounded. Your voice should carry a sense of calm and certainty. That way, even when you express emotion, you don't lose composure. If your tone is stable most of the time, it shows that you, as a man, are also emotionally stable. Even when someone disagrees with you, your tone should never become childish or reactive. A classic man speaks like someone who is rooted, self-assured, and grounded. The energy behind your voice is what makes people believe and trust what you're saying. Number 4. Choosing the right words. Now, I'm sorry to break it to you, but with the vocabulary of a 6-year-old, you will never sound classically masculine. You need to have a wide range of words to choose from in order to speak in a classically masculine way. Think of it like this. A strong vocabulary gives you a rich palette of words to precisely express your thoughts, emotions, and ideas. The more words you know, the more colours you have to paint with. A strong vocabulary allows you to communicate complex concepts clearly and convincingly. But remember, A good vocabulary isn't just about knowing a lot of words, it's about using the right word in the right situation. A classically masculine man speaks with precision. You should avoid slang that weakens your message and clichés that lack originality. Instead, lean into clarity. Power lies in simplicity, but that simplicity must be intentional. The man who speaks with elegance and economy of language, who says exactly what he means, no more and no less, is the man who owns the room. People will feel like they're listening to someone who knows what he is talking about. And in today's world filled with noise, that's rare. But how do you expand your vocabulary? My best advice is to watch great classic movies with actors such as Sean Connery and Cary Grant. Listening to how they speak is an effective and enjoyable way to improve your vocabulary. Try to remember or write down sentences they often use. Keep in mind that skilled scriptwriters put a lot of thought into crafting lines that match characters like Sean Connery and Cary Grant. So find lines they use you can see yourself using too. Reading is also an excellent way to expand your vocabulary. If you combine reading and watching classic films, I'm confident you'll see fast progress in your ability to sound classically masculine. If you want to know which classic films are the best, I've written an article about it on my blog. You can find the link in the description, so make sure to check it out. Number 5. Move with purpose. Your body speaks volumes before your mouth ever opens, and a classically masculine man really understands this. You must realize that posture, movement, eye contact, and presence are not extras to communication. They are communication. Let's start with your posture. Most men today are hunched over, and not only does this completely ruin their appearance, but doing this while speaking also makes you look insecure. While speaking, try to stand tall with your chest slightly out and your feet planted firmly about shoulder width apart. This kind of stance communicates confidence and authority, and people are more likely to listen. Also, when you speak, avoid fidgeting or constantly shifting your weight. Stillness shows control. A calm, steady frame makes your words feel more measured and intentional. You should also use gestures sparingly, but make them meaningful. Don't wave your hands around just to prove a point. One slow, deliberate gesture can carry more weight than 10 rushed ones. But don't overdo it either. If you make too many gestures, you can come off as someone who's seeking attention or trying too hard, and those are not traits of a classically masculine man. Just remember that your movements should match the elegance of your words. They need to be direct and purposeful. Eye contact is also extremely important. It shows that you're confident in yourself and respectful of others. If you avoid eye contact, you send a message of uncertainty. But again, don't overdo it. Don't stare into someone's soul the entire time you're speaking. Just try to maintain eye contact most of the time in a very natural way. Number 6. Use strategic silence. Now, if there's one subtle communication habit that separates the classically masculine man from the average speaker, it's this. He knows when to shut up. Not in a weak or uncertain way, but with strategy. Silence, when used correctly, is one of the most commanding tools in masculine communication. Think about the most iconic scenes in classic films, the moments that really hit you. Most times it's not the dialogue that leaves a mark, but the pause. The moment when the man doesn't speak, and yet somehow says everything. That's no accident. It's the strategic use of silence. You see, most men today feel the need to fill every gap in a conversation. They fear the awkwardness, the discomfort of quiet, so they talk too much. They ramble, they explain, they justify, and they nervously keep the words coming because they don't want to be misunderstood, or worse, ignored. But the classically masculine man knows that power doesn't chase approval. It doesn't fill space to prove its value. It commands space. And that's exactly what a pause does. When you pause before answering a question, you look thoughtful. When you pause after saying something important, it lands harder. When you hold your tongue in a heated moment, you look a lot more composed. Strategic silence communicates confidence, control, and respect for yourself and for the words you choose to say. If you ever study Sean Connery, you'll notice something interesting. It's not just his deep voice or accent that makes him compelling, it's his pacing. He's not in a hurry. He'll look someone in the eye, hold a pause just a little longer than expected, and then drop a line that cuts straight through the noise. It makes him magnetic. Cary Grant did the same thing. They didn't throw words out like darts, they placed them like chess moves. Strategic, clean, calm, masculine. So don't rush to reply. Practice sitting in silence after a sentence. Practice letting people wait for your thoughts. Because when silence becomes part of your vocabulary, you start communicating with more than just words. You start communicating with presence, and calm, grounded, unshakable presence is the mark of a truly classic man. This habit of strategic silence becomes top tier when combined with the other 5. You already know the importance of thinking before you speak, using a calm tone, choosing precise words, and controlling your body language. Silence is the glue that ties all of it together. It gives your speech rhythm, makes your words feel measured, and gives people time to absorb what you're saying. And the truth is, silence makes you unpredictable in the best way. People can't read you easily. They start wondering what you're thinking. They lean in. Mentally and physically, and in that silence, you will be in control of the conversation. Before trying these 6 habits, I highly recommend recording some videos of yourself at home while speaking as you apply these 6 habits. It's very helpful to compare yourself with men like Sean Connery and Cary Grant. I highly recommend watching many films that feature such classic men. As I said, the films I recommend are posted on my blog. The link is in the description. But after you've practiced at home, the next step is to take it into the real world. You'll need to learn to speak with these habits in real-life situations, and I promise you, it will get easier every time you step out of your comfort zone. Gentlemen, I hope that after watching this video, you feel ready to level up your communication skills. By the way, which famous actor do you think speaks in a classically masculine way? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We hope to see you in the next one.